These are the 3 best Town Hall 12 attacks that you will want to use for 3 stars, even without super troops. Let's go ahead and start off simple with our first army, the Mass Electro Dragon. This does not require the use of any super troops at all. Typically, it runs about 8 Edrags with 6 balloons and a singular baby dragon. Otherwise, the way that you should be identifying or looking at a base for this attack is typically areas of great chain. You can hit bases that are a bit more spread out, though those are going to be a bit tougher. So what I would recommend is look for bases that are fairly compact. They don't have to have all the buildings touching, but as long as you can get good chain from the base from a certain angle or a certain entry, that is what you should be aiming for with your Electro Dragons. Just use your King and Queen on one side and the Baby Dragon on the other, and you should have an easy lane with your E-Drags moving in. So first things first, let's talk about your funnel. You are going to use the Baby Dragon on one side of the base. Typically, this is done against a couple different structures. Try to make sure that the Baby Dragon is protected from any air defenses or seeking air mines. Now on the other side, you've got your Barbarian King and your Archer Queen. And their goal is just to funnel to the other side, just walk down. That is their entire job. Otherwise, you should be able to create a very easy funnel for your E-Drags to work in. Now, funneling is easy for E-Drags, but what isn't easy is actually sending it in and all the management you have. So in terms of this, you're sending in your E-Drags first, then your balloons, then your Grand Warden, using 2 rage spells, and then using the Grand Warden ability. The reason you're doing all of that is just to send in your balloons and E-Drags into the base, do a crazy amount of damage, and then having a bunch of your balloons protected by the Warden ability to soak up a ton of traps so the E-Drags can easily move through without taking a ton of black air mines. So that is something to be aware of with this. But when you send in the attack and after that certain area, you can send in your Siege Machine. Usually it's either the Stone Slammer or the Battle Blimp. Usually the Battle Blimp is recommended for most cases. Otherwise, you're pretty much using your rage spells in key areas where you need to remove something like an air defense, Eagle, Expos, Tesla Farm, Town Hall, really anything where you see a good chunk of your E-Drags that need to have a ton of damage and need to get through defenses such as single Infernos as well. That is something that you will want to consider. Now, free spells as well should be used mixed in. You shouldn't spam them in. Try to make sure that you're freezing up stuff like the Town Hall, Air Defense, Single Infernos, the things that are going to deal a ton of damage to your E-Drags and not allow you to have any fun. And of course, if you're dealing with enemy CC, you've got a poison, so make sure you take advantage of that. Otherwise, you should be able to get a really simple 3-star, despite this attack being a fairly challenging attack. Following up with our second army, the Zap Dragons. This is another incredibly powerful attack, and it literally doesn't require the use of super troops at all. You can easily use 6 lightning and 3 earthquake with this one, alongside 11 dragons, which is what I would typically recommend. Otherwise, you can also bring in the use of 10 lightning and 3 earthquake spells, which is a lot, but it really gives you a good amount of value if you notice Inferno Towers near air defenses. Otherwise, I just recommend using 6 lightning and 3 earthquake. So the usual plan for this is going to be running in with getting 3 to 4 of the air defenses, alongside using your heroes to remove the 4th air defense if you haven't. Otherwise, you're just using them to funnel, creating the other side of the funnel with a dragon or E-Drag, and then sending all your dragons through. That is pretty much the easiest way I can pretty much say how you can use a mass dragon with light. So first things first, your Zap Quake. You're going to be using 2 lightning and 1 earthquake on each air defense. This is enough to easily remove them. Now keep in mind as well that Inferno Towers are also fairly weak to lightning. You need 4 lightning and 1 earthquake though, so if you are going to do this, you can use 2 lightning on the air defense and 2 lightning on another structure, but still touching the Inferno, so you can easily remove the air defense and the multi-Inferno and weaken or possibly take out that other building. Otherwise, you're just going to be making sure that you're able to easily clear those air defenses and make it much easier for your attack. Next, you'll send in your heroes. This is typically done to remove that 4th air defense, but if you have already taken care of it, you can always go ahead and use the Barbarian King and Archer Queen either separate and create the funnel that way, or send them in together. A dragon is perfectly capable of creating the other side of the funnel if you want to use your king and queen together. Finally, it's your dragons. Otherwise, I don't really need to say much here. You got a battle blimp or a stone slammer, depending on if you're going into the town hall or not. Otherwise, I'd always recommend using the battle blimp and going in for the eagle first. Use a rage spell early on. You can bring another rage spell or a heal spell to keep all of your dragons alive, or to rage them up through the core. Otherwise, it's a really simple attack that I don't need to explain further because it's literally mass dragons and it works incredibly well with lightning. If you notice the trend, you may know what army this is, the Zap Witches. This is our third army, which I would consider to be very, very strong. It also doesn't require the use of super troops, which is awesome. The biggest thing here is that this attack is very flexible. You can bring ice golems or golems for the tanks, and then you can just bring witches. You can bring other troops like baby dragons and wizards to provide more support. Outside of that, it's pretty versatile. You do want to consider looking at 2 Inferno Towers that are set on multi. The main reason is you want to look for 2 of them on opposite sides to zap out. You will then go ahead and use your witches, your log launcher, and your heroes to remove the 3rd Inferno, Eagle, and the Town Hall. Those are things that you will want to consider as you work yourself through with the use of the Zap Witches. First things first is your lightning spells. You're typically going to run 4 lightning, 1 earthquake. You're going to do this twice, so you're going to bring a total of 8 lightning and 2 earthquake. That way you are able to remove 2 different infernos on opposite sides of each other. You will want to make sure that you're doing this so you have easy pathing for the witches, and also removing Inferno Towers that are set on multi are really good. Outside of this, try to use the lightning spells around the Inferno to get more value. Be very careful though of multi-Infernos within compartments of either literally nothing or storages, because they get nothing. It's now time for Rattly Bones. You're going to be sending in your golems or ice golems first, then your witches, and then your log launcher. Wait until you've got a solid area to where you can send in your king and queen, and just let all the skeletons go burr. Yeah, some might die, but you'll be completely fine. You've got the use of a rage spell that you can use a little bit later on in the attack. Typically, this is to remove the town hall. Otherwise, just try to go in for that 3rd Inferno, Eagle Artillery, and Town Hall, and you're going to be all set and ready to go. The skeletons will do a ton of work, the witches will provide a lot of chip damage, the golems will do their thing, and of course, the heroes will be able to clear through the core of the base with help of distraction from those Rattly Bones. Otherwise, this should allow you to get a really simple 3-star. Just make sure you drop that poise on the clan castle so you can deal with that. If you want to see some more powerful attacks, make sure you check out this top 3 Town Hall 12 video, which gives you even more attacks to try. I'll be catching you in the next video. Corrupt, signing out.